Hi everyone, welcome back. If you are completely new and we have never met, my name is Kate. I'm a tarot reader, spiritual guide, and teacher, and this channel is dedicated to guidance in these uncertain and unpredictable times. I show up here monthly. I share the messages and the energetics of things, aka the things that are going on in the collective. So if you are interested in all things spirituality, Aquarian age, self development, self growth, and all these topics that can be categorized as esoteric, you're welcome to subscribe and enjoy my videos. In today's video, I will be discussing the collective energy in February 2025, the full moon in Leo, and the card that popped up for the collective, a message that the collective needs to hear, a message that you need to hear. So the card that showed up is the Nine of Cups. Before I get into what all of this means in this card, I like to connect the cards that show up, whether in personal readings or in group readings and the readings for the collective. I like to connect the card to the intuitive messages that I'm getting about what's going on. I can easily tap into the energy of what's going on this planet, a blessing and a curse at the same time. And before I share about more about this card and tell you more about what all of this means, I will share with you the message that I got when I was tuning into the collective. So for this month, the message that came through is that we as a collective are having a very difficult time accepting what is. Now, what do I mean by that? It seems like many of us are frustrated and are feeling like things need to be different. We need to revolutionize everything, our lives, the politics, the state of the world. We're just sitting in a place vibrationally of, I'm not satisfied with what is. Which is completely acceptable, by the way. If you look at politics and if you look at the events that are happening right now on this planet, there's nothing to be happy about. But that's not the point. What we're looking at here is the vibration that we embody. If we sit with the energy of, I feel like things should be different, so I'm gonna pause me enjoying my life until things are different and I feel like I got my shit together. If we get stuck in this vibrational space of just thinking to ourselves how terrible everything is or how things are not working out the way we want them to work out, or oh, I'm just not satisfied with how life is right now in my personal life, in my romantic life, in my finances, my career, my work life. If you get too sucked in that feeling of dissatisfaction or that feeling of it needs to be different, things must be different or should be different than this is not what I signed up for, we embody a vibration of lack of gratitude. We over identify with scenarios and plans that we have for ourselves that might not be fully aligned with our souls. And this is something that humanity has as a big flaw. We just can't let go of planning, of having specific scenarios that we have written for ourselves. So maybe our parents have written for us, or our families, society has written for us specific scenarios, specific paths that we expect to unfold. Sometimes our lives just don't unfold the way we plan them to. And that's okay. That's all part of the divine orchestration. Humanity struggles with that. It's a big blockage right now in the collective. There's a lack of acceptance of what is and what's about to come, or the potential of things being very different from what we imagine them to be, what we want them to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. It's almost like we can't release our grip, the grip that's holding on to our lives, holding on to specific scenarios, specific relationships. So the guidance here would be to just allow and to Let things unfold the way they're unfolding. And remove your judgment, because it's a human trait that we all have this pattern of, well, if I'm not married at that time, at that age, I'm a failure. Well, if I don't have this type of job or that type of job, I'm a failure. There's always that judgment. There's always that meeting expectations that might not be our own expectations of us. It's constantly fitting into a box that society and the media is presenting to us. It's constantly fitting some template that we have observed around us, maybe our peers. But the whole point right now, this month, things are changing so fast. You've seen January was fast, right? It felt like we lived through 45 years in a month. This month, things are changing even more, and we really need to get real, and we need to get face to face with specific scenarios, with specific emotions, with specific energetic sensations that we're feeling in our bodies. If there is dissatisfaction, you need to humble yourself. First and foremost, you need to find gratitude. What are you grateful for? And three, you need to take responsibility for your life. So I'm not saying, okay, you need to just accept what is, let things flow. If you are, for example, in an abusive relationship, or if you live somewhere that you absolutely hate living, but you don't trust yourself that you will have a better life in a different country or a different city or a different neighborhood. It's not about accepting things, circumstances, events, relationships, and anything else in your life that don't serve you, that don't resonate with your soul. No, 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 no. It's about noticing where you may be pushing too hard, or maybe having too many expectations, or again trying to follow a template that doesn't fully resonate with you, but you're pushing, 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 pushing because you think, no, this is how things worked so far. This is the pattern that I've been following. This is the step by step thing that I was doing in the past, and now things are not working out the same way anymore. Why? No, this needs to work. That's what I mean. Anything that needs to be changed on its own, that needs to go through a process of transmutation on its own, don't try and push, don't try and, don't complain about it, um don't stay and marinate in those feelings of dissatisfaction, because it's not gonna be, things won't be unfolding in your favor. But again, do take responsibility of things that can be changed. I think with the full moon in Leo, we're also learning to come face to face with specific emotions. Emotions like anger, frustration, coming face to face with what's deep in your heart that you might have not addressed, coming face to face with issues that might be present in your romantic relationships. Venus is gonna be retrograde soon. I'm not going to get too much into the astrology of it, but that's the planet of love and relationships. So coming face to face with what is deep inside of you when it comes to your relationships, not just the romantic relationships, but also family, friends, acquaintances, people that you interact with on a daily basis or on a regular basis. There too, what can you take responsibility for, and where can you just accept that things are currently going through a birthing or a dying, a natural death, or a birth where contraction pains are present, and just releasing your grip and not trying to control the flow of life, the flow of your projects, the flow of your inspiration, while you still show up every single day to write or to paint, even if everything sucks and feels stagnant and is dried up, you still show up. That's taking responsibility for your life. but it's not trying control and copy what other artists are doing, what's selling right now. That's a tendency that people have. They're like, okay, what's selling right now? I'm going to be painting this, or I'm going to be writing this. This is what's selling right now. No, you allow your art to take you where you need to be taken, where you and your art need to be taken. So taking responsibility for having a routine, having a consistency, but allowing things to evolve the way they evolve. If you're lacking inspiration and you're not happy with your paintings, it's fine. You're still showing up. There's consistency. The Nine of Cups, it's a beautiful card. It's a card of settling into what is. So kind of accepting what is, right? Instead of not being happy with what is, being dissatisfied, complaining, oh, I wish things were different. Oh, life is just like so difficult. Oh, my partner, I wish he was doing this instead of that. Just complaining, right? With this card, we're being told, hold on a sec, let's humble ourselves a little bit. Take responsibility for your life, make the changes that you need to make, but also realize everything that you have around you. You have yourself, you have your life force, hopefully. You have your body, you have your mind, you have your limbs, you have ideas, you have a relationship, you have friends, you hopefully have a community. So dropping a little deeper into the moment and acknowledging what's already there so you can tweak all that's there, appreciate all that's there, clean maybe some corners of what's already there, embellish what's already there, bring more love into what's already there, more appreciation into what's already here and there. I'm using there, but what's here in front of you, more appreciation. Maybe some of the things that are here right now that might not be that pretty, you might want to put a vase of flowers on top of it or something. But recognizing how lucky you are, recognizing that a lot of what's happening in your life is in your own hands, and that sometimes you sign up for things that in the long run don't work. So you always have the choice to sign up for something new, something different. But with this card, we're being told to slow down and look around what's here with us. This month invites us to have more vulnerable conversations with our friends, with our romantic partners. This is the month of emotional transformation. And when you think vulnerability, sometimes with vulnerability, with the idea of being vulnerable with someone, expressing what's really deep down inside of you, that includes your shadows, that includes your dissatisfactions. Sometimes expressing that, or the idea of expressing that, can bring up shame. But to move forward, we need to be able to tap into that place of vulnerability. We need to open up and have our cups or all lined up in front of our partners, in front of our spouses, in front of people who we deeply care about. What's left unexpressed? This month will be like a pressure cooker when it comes to unexpressed stuff. So you feel like, things are like spewing out of you, like spilling out of you. You're like a boiling pot. So many emotions, so many different sensations. The idea of not feeling satisfied, maybe even frustrated with what is right now in your life. And that will also bring things to a boil. And you want to make sure that calmly and ethically, you learn how to express those things to your partner, to your friends and family. So this means we need to no longer judge ourselves for the feelings that we do feel, no longer judge ourselves when things are just not working out, and no longer judge ourselves when vulnerability is there and you just feel weak and you just want to ask for help and you just want to express something. It's having conversations and coming face to face with your own tendencies of maybe catastrophizing or exploding on your partners. And I feel like this topic of vulnerability will be very present in romantic relationships this month. Not only because of that one holiday, but because of Venus going retrograde and things just popping up seemingly out of nowhere. So, vulnerability in romantic relationships is key. And sometimes that vulnerability might show up as if you are letting go of your guard that you've been using for protection, but that's actually keeping you trapped and disconnected from your partner. With the Nine of Cups, I think you can see, if you look at this image, you can see a contrast that's happening here. You have all the cups behind him exposed. We can see all of these vulnerabilities, right? All of the cups are on the table, but at the same time, look at his body language. He's sitting there like this. His heart is actually blocked and closed. So sometimes when we're in romantic relationships, what we do is we are seemingly vulnerable. It's a collective shadow that we have. We are seemingly so deeply connected to our partners that it seems like, oh yeah, there are no secrets, but there are parts of you that you're not fully sharing out of shame, out of embarrassment, simply because you feel like if you share those parts that you will get so lost in your partner because they maybe haven't been any work done on your individuality, on your own wholeness, on your attachment style. If you are an avoidant, for example, in the attachment style theory that I won't get into, please look it up, then you might have that fear of being fully possessed or completely engulfed by your partner. So you're there like, yeah, we're, my cups are here, all about me. But actually, my heart is not there, and you're not going to get my heart because I'm so scared. And it's not about completely laying it all out, completely, constantly processing your triggers with your partner. And it's not about constantly spilling your emotions out. It's not about constantly going through a crisis and analyzing every single detail of your emotional body with your partner. No, not at all. You sit with your own stuff, and once that stuff is processed, if it has anything to do with your relationship or with your partner or spouse, then you address that. But it's not about picking apart all of your traumas of the heart, all of your emotional triggers, and all of the stuff that just bubbles up. As women, we tend to do that a lot, but that's super unnecessary. You have to be capable of containing and figuring your own emotional body out without needing your partner involved in every single wave that you're going through. It's a type of vulnerability where your heart is trusting, where your guard is down, where there's no competition with your partner. I keep finding that as a shadow in the collective as well, that there's so much competition almost between partners, whether it's in their creativity, in their work, in their finance. There's almost a continuous pattern and topic for women where we constantly try and prove something to men, talking about men and women right now, but I'm sure it's also happening in relationships of the same gender. It's almost like we're trying to prove something to our romantic partners, and it's no longer a partnership when that's happening. It's not a competition. If there's that that's showing up in your relationship, you need to address that. You need to come face to face with your own issues, with your own patterns, with your own fears. Why are you so afraid of just letting your guard down and allowing this connection or this relationship to take you wherever it will take you or wants to take you, whatever the divine orchestration will take you with that person. So it's catching yourself when you might be using the type of vulnerability that's just packaged as vulnerability, but in actuality, it's just some form of theater that you're performing. What about your heart? Is it fully open? So, a big message here that's coming through with this card is also you're safe. I know we all feel very unsafe nowadays. I know with everything that's going on. But if you really, really trust that no matter what happens to you, you will always be fully safe in the bigger scheme of things, you are constantly supported. So allow the universe to guide you, allow your own inner guidance to guide you. Listen more rather than try and rush into, okay, I really don't like what's going on in my life right now, this frustration. I need to, I don't know how I want to change things around. So I'm going to just sit here and wait. And I'm not going to allow myself to live my life until things change, until I have that much money on my bank account, until I find a wife, until I help my parents retire, or until I get famous, or whatever it is, until my music, ends up on some channel. You are dishonoring your soul. You are dishonoring all of creation if you put yourself in that type of trap. Acknowledge the imperfections of the current state of the world. Acknowledge the imperfections of your life. Acknowledge the imperfections of uh, your inner being, your outer being, of your work, your plans not working out. Yeah, it's all a big mess. And set your ego aside. Allow yourself to ask your friend for help and be like, hey, this month I feel so dry in my art and my projects. Do you want to have weekly calls where we just brainstorm together? And do you want to be my accountability buddy so I can actually sit down and write or paint on a weekly basis and finish this one project? Can we do that? Just being vulnerable with those around you, not try and get them to pity you, not try and, play the victim. We don't want any of that. We want to be real with ourselves. Yeah, right now it's a little tough. It's really important to express that sometimes. Yeah, right now things don't look as beautiful as I want them to, but I'm really doing my best to still infuse everything with gratitude, see what I'm actually responsible for, what I'm in control of, where can I shift some things around, and where can I just trust, and where can I feel safe to move forward no matter what comes on my path. So being more in the present right now and savoring the present moment, the present minute, the present day, it's extremely important nowadays. This is the card of just being so sunken in the present that you hear your inner guidance so on point, so profoundly, that you connect with every single person in your environment with so much depth, as if you were gonna be gone tomorrow kind of depth. Savoring every single moment. And most importantly, stop judging yourself. This is a big one in the collective right now at this moment. People judging themselves. I should have done this instead of that. A lot of doubts. I just sense a lot of just accept that the trajectory of your life has a purpose. The trajectory of your life makes complete sense. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. It doesn't matter what your neighbor is doing. It doesn't matter what your friends from school think about you. It doesn't matter what your mom thinks about you. It doesn't matter what people do at your age, when they get married, when they buy a house, and all of this matrixy things that everyone is obsessing about and beating themselves up about. Release all of this. Stop judging yourself and find gratitude in the moment. This is the message from the Nine of Cups for the collective. I hope this provided some guidance. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments if you want to further discuss this topic, what's going on in your life. I'd love to hear if any insights show up. And I hope to see you soon on my channel again. Subscribe if this is the type of content that you enjoy. And have a beautiful month of February moving into the month of March.